Welcome back, family. Thank you for joining again. Thanks for all the likes, the sharing, the subscriptions. I see a few new ones coming in. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And we know how these algorithms work. The more you like, the more you share, the more you subscribe, the more the channel grows, right? So I really appreciate it. We saw the last video in the series of the dual citizenship process, and this video is going to be the first in another series where I tackle what is most dear to my heart, and that's women's health. I did a couple interviews with midwives on the ground while in Sierra Leone, so I'm going to be using that as a springboard into talking about and sharing my ultimate goals and dreams for Sierra Leone once I eventually move there and complete the relocation process. But until then, we're gonna try and look into and peel back all the challenges and obstacles that our women face on the ground in Sierra Leone. And keep in mind that I'm coming to you from a Hebrew perspective, but it doesn't matter whether you follow Kemet, whether you're a Christian, or you share in the Hebrew beliefs of the scriptures. It doesn't matter. This is something that you'll be able to relate to, because once you're melanated, once you are of African descent, what I'm talking about as it relates to our women, as it relates to childbirth, as it relates to healthcare, especially during pregnancy, it's something that's going to relate to you regardless of your belief system, because it's something that's pervasive throughout the nations that we have found ourselves in. And Sierra Leone is not an exception. When you look at Haiti, even here in the US, you will see all of these complications that face our women at higher rates than it does any other group. And at one point, I had to sit back and say to myself, why is that the case? Why is it that regardless of where we are, our maternal mortality rate is always higher than the other groups? So I'm taking a deep dive to assess and to try and understand why that's the case. I know that there are many layers, there are multiple factors in place, but we can always start somewhere, right? To try and uncover and decipher what's exactly going on. So in this video, I'm going to be interviewing one of the midwives that I met in Sierra Leone, getting her first-hand impression and description of maternal care in Sierra Leone. And at the end of the video, I do have an assessment. I do have of my feedback. So stay to the end and hope you'll enjoy it. Every organization that you come across will tell you the same thing. When you look at the numbers, you'll clearly see how our babies are dying at a higher rate. Potentially only South Sudan and Chad has higher rates of maternal mortality than Sierra Leone. Haiti also has significant challenges. And it's not enough to say it's because of governmental corruption or any other matter, because even in the US, we see high rates amongst our people. We're going to be speaking with one of the midwives from the hospital in Waterloo. Now, I did a phone interview with her and the image got a little bit distorted. So most of what you're going to be hearing is her voice, but bear with me. Go ahead, my sister, introduce yourself, share with the family a little bit about your midwifery training and some of the challenges that you face being a midwife in Sierra Leone.
All right. I'm Fatma Sazuka. Actually, I'm a trained nurse, and during my training, I go through some midwifery training for about 6 months. Then I'm working at the Waterloo Hospital called Aldra. I've been working there for the past 6 years, and we introduced the maternity ward or the maternity program 2 years back. So basically, it has not been easy, but with the help of God,
Amen.
we are trying to get something better anyway.
Right?
Yes, in Sierra Leone, yeah.
Okay.
At the Maternal School of Nursing.
Okay. And where in Sierra Leone was that? In Freetown? Which district was that?
Southern.
Okay.
Bond District.
Oh,
yeah, when we introduced the program, we got 30 deliveries.
Okay. Okay.
30 deliveries. And as at last year, we were able to conduct 68 deliveries.
Okay, so it's growing. It's growing.
Yeah. All right. My first challenge is that people do not actually want to come to the hospital when they are in labor.
Mm-hmm.
They will come for ANC, antenatal care visits, but during labor, they will not want to come.
Mm-hmm.
That is my first challenge. I have to be tracing them through mobile phones, mm-hmm. reaching their homes. Then, basically, we do not have an enabling environment to conduct the delivery, because like for our hospital, we are using minor theater. Mm-hmm. And we actually do not have all equipment or material needed mm-hmm. to conduct the deliveries. That is another challenge. And I was having another challenge, but that one, it has been settled. Okay. Because I was alone running that department. Mm-hmm. But now I had Haja with me, right. And we've just employed another nurse who is Fatmata. Mm-hmm. So that's one has been settled. And secondly, another challenge, not only in my facility, but within the area. Having done my visibility studies in the community I'm living, the network, poor road network facility. Mm-hmm. Because some people are far off from a health center. Right. By the time they go into labor, more of the multiparous women, they do not believe in coming to the health center. No sooner they started experiencing abdominal pain, mm-hmm. they will decide to wait to see maybe a sign or any other thing. So they will not come earlier. The time they will decide to come, the distance they cover, that's another right. serious problem. Right. Yeah. Another problem I'm facing is this teenage pregnancy due mm-hmm. to early marriage. They do interview, please. It's teenage pregnancy mm-hmm. due to early marriage. Yeah. We have certain tribes that do give their children to early marriage in order for them to avoid the child bringing shame into the family, like the Fullers, mm-hmm. more especially the Fullers. They will give a child into marriage at the age of 13, 14. Mm-hmm. And yeah, having gone through that married house, the child will become pregnant. It's a serious challenge for that person to be able to cope with the pregnancy until the time of labor, right. until the time of deliveries. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's another challenge. Then another challenge is health education, lack of health education mm-hmm. in communities. There was a time I talked to my boss to give me some health personnel so that we can go out, reaching the communities, telling them about teenage pregnancy, telling them the importance of having health education, mm-hmm. those stuff, really. So the challenges are there. Right. Another challenge is lack of trained or skilled birth attendants in communities. Lack of skilled birth attendants. Yeah. Some they prefer, some pregnant women, they prefer going to TBAs. We call them traditional birth attendants. Right. TBAs. Mm-hmm. Yes. They prefer going to them, at the end of the day, being that they are not well skilled in deliveries, in conducting deliveries, that's another problem. Complication will arrive.
Right.
But by the time they reach us to the health centers, something else might have happened. More in terms of postpartum hemorrhage.
Exactly. Because
yes,
a lot of
postpartum hemorrhage.
Would you say that a lot of the deaths that you encounter are as a result of problems occurring in the village, and then the distance to the hospital? Most of those will be occurring as a result of hemorrhage and without seeking care at an appropriate time, or what?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing else, we have this, what we call puerperium sepsis. It's another problem.
Right.
Yeah. It's another problem that will cause them, that will cause their lives. Maybe that will lead to TH, total abdominal hysterectomy, but because of the infection.
The infection, right.
Yeah.
And then if they're away from the hospital, these are some of the things that when an obstetric emergency takes place, time is really the essence. And if they're at a distance from the hospital, and by the time they do get to the hospital, if they get there, so much time has already been passed. Yeah. It would just be a miracle at that point if they do survive, just because of the amount of time that they've already lost.
Exactly.
Because this is one of the things that I noticed that while I was there, just based on the distance between the villages and the nearest facility. That is one of the main things that I saw as a potential problem that would increase the maternal mortality rates. Because once they're in the hospital, as we were talking, everything's fine. If there's a problem, you have the equipment, you have the facilities, you have the skilled professionals, the doctors, the surgeons, you have the OR, you have the equipment to take care of emergencies in the facility. But if the emergencies take place outside of the facility, you have the roads to contend with, you have the vehicles to contend with, there's no light on the streets in many of these village areas, so you have so many variables to consider between the village and the hospital that could also contribute to these negative outcomes.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of the things that you did mention that is of key importance, I think, is when you're saying that the hesitancy for the mothers to want to come to the facility in the first place. So even if the distance from the village to the hospital is significant, if they came to the hospital or started the journey at the first sign of labor and got to the hospital, some of these problems could be alleviated or diminished. But you're saying that they don't even want to come to the facility in the first place. Why? Can you say what's the reason for that?
All right. Some will tell you that if they do not have money, because when they come to the hospital, we have some charges we levied on them. That could be one reason. Others will say, if you go to the hospital and your time has not come for you to deliver, you will not have one nurse to attend to you. The one that will start will go, another one comes. Some do not like those ideas. Okay. In terms of shifts, in the hospital we run shifts, we change shifts. Yeah, that's another cause. And some will say that I have delivered 2, 3 with no complication, no problem. I believe in myself. I know I have the power to deliver by myself without the aid of trained personnel. Okay. Some will say that. Yes, some will say that. I've witnessed a case, a lady who said that she gave birth alone in her room. Later, she could not cut the cord, she didn't get proper management, better care. At the end of the day, the baby was dead. Yeah. She lost the baby, yes, but she survived. When they came to the hospital, I got that story from them. So those are the issues. My own knowledge, if we go to a village will ask for the traditional birth attendants, will tell them if a woman goes into labor and that person comes to you, you accompany the person to the health center. Some will do that, but some will give you the answer, yes, we'll do that, but that will not happen. Yeah, they do not have. Some in cutting the cord, some will use the local knife.
And then, of course, we know that that's not, probably they didn't clean it properly, so that gives rise to potential infection for the mom and the baby.
Yeah. Okay. And the baby, yeah.
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 Okay.
So, they do not have. So 3 years back, what the government did, they called us to a meeting and tell us what they really want to do to salvage this situation. So we give ideas. Where we ended was that if you deliver at home, you, the person, the nurse or the TBA, the traditional birth attendants that conduct that delivery, they will levy a fine on you. And if a woman delivered at home and that woman lost her life, we have that, we hear a death case of short stint, you, the nurse, if you are a nurse, they will seize your license. If you are a traditional birth attendant, they will give you 6 months imprisonment. Yes. And another thing again, that's why you see they bring in this midwife nursing school at Bo. The school is at Bo and McKinney. Yeah.
Right. I think that's the one that I passed.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's the school. That's why they brought that training school, so that they will train more skilled nurses and create more employment facility for them and send them most in the villages so that they will see how to manage or combat that situation.
Right. Okay. So that's good. That's a good thing that they're trying to implement more facilities and provide opportunities for training. So that's definitely a good thing. But it sounded as if the meeting that you mentioned, it sounded as if there was more punitive measures that were being addressed, more punishment to those who are already trying to do their best, as opposed to providing more solutions to the problem, which I'm sure isn't a good encouraging factor for anybody. You know. But I mean, the way that I'm looking at the situation now is that there's so many different positive things that can go into the system that could make it better. And I'm hearing that simple things could easily turn around those numbers and make the picture a lot better, bring the mortality rate down. They've already trying to do the education. Potentially, if we had those traditional birth attendants, encouraging them more, incentivizing them more to bring the moms to the hospital, or making sure that there's like proper birthing kits available in the home just in case they end up delivering there. At least they'll have clean instruments to, bring the baby into the world. That could potentially help. So yeah. So this is definitely a conversation that will continue. It sounds like there's a lot of opportunity for growth, a lot of opportunity for improvement. But we'll definitely have to continue the discussion, obviously.
All right. For me, let me say, I believe the last time when you came to Sierra Leone, we went to that building we are trying to put up.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So having completed that building, I want us to do another structure. When a woman is pregnant and she's at term and the pregnancy is in term, I want that person to come to the facility in awaiting the time of labor. That will help reduce the workload. Because one problem is tracing the patients. You know, when if they come to the clinic, you know the time you are expecting that person to go into labor, the time that person should deliver. And if the time comes and passed, if you didn't see that person, you try to contact the person, try to reach the person. If I try to call the person, I do not get the person, I'll go to the person's house, to the woman's house. So maybe the person, the distance, the person is in, the person is living, all those things. So in building the facility, we call, I think I should call it awaiting place. Awaiting labor. Yeah, that will really help me.
I love that.
And secondly, the instruments. You know, we have some in conducting delivery, some patients, you know, you consider the 3 P's, the passenger, the passage, and the power. Some, if the passenger is weak,
you
it
have a
needs
problem.
assistance. Not so. Yes. You have the power, or if you not have the power, you also need assistance. So if we have this vacuum, what I'm lacking in my facility is the vacuum. We do not have vacuum. We really do not have vacuum. So if I got that one in my facility, and I believe in other facilities, that will remedy the situation and make the work lively for we the workers. That's my dream, actually. Because in building that, putting up that building, I was really disturbing my boss to write the project for the building to be put up. But thank God we are on it. So that's my next target. Having completed that building, that's another target for me.
Oh, my sister, I want to thank you so much for spending the time with me. I know today is your day off, so I won't keep you much longer. But thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for being open and honest with all that you have to say. We'll definitely have to continue the discussion because, you know, this one interview will not seek to address all the issues that they are. I'm fully aware that there are layers to the problem, but I just wanted to thank you for sharing, you know, what you have thus far. And we'll continue to talk on the issue. I'll call you and contact you behind the scenes to see how best we can negotiate and work together. All right. Thank you, my sister.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You're welcome. Stay blessed.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
So there you have it, guys. One perspective from a midwife on the ground as it relates to some of the factors that could potentially contribute to a high mortality rate in Sierra Leone amongst our birthing mothers. Of course, this is just one interview from one midwife. This in no way includes or exhausts the challenges that exist on the ground. There are multiple layers to the problem, multiple contributing factors, but it was good enough to hear someone's perspective who is intimately involved in the system. So up next is an interview with one of the patients, and we'll see what she has to say in the next video. Thank you.